Welcome back, traveler, and if you are newly arrived, then welcome indeed. This is the Field Atlas for the Monsters of the Mind, a living chronicle of subtle life forms, not shaped by soil or sinew, but by thought, by feeling, and by the quiet corners of the mind we so rarely explore. Each page brings us closer to what is so often unseen. These are not creatures that prowl beneath beds or hide in closets, but those that dwell behind the eyes. They do not attack physically, although they may have physical effects. Most often, they whisper, they corrupt, and they weigh. Today, our attention turns to one of the more deceptive species in the atlas. They flicker at the periphery, graceful in movement, delicate in form, and yet relentless in purpose. These are the Measure Sprites, agents of comparison, carriers of doubt, and quiet sculptors of self-erasure. They emerge in stillness, drifting through the silence after a bard's final note or the dying shimmer of a candle's last light. Their arrival is rarely felt at first. A glance, a flicker, a breath withheld. Mistaken often for faeries or spirits of light, their glow is not a gift, it is bait. They do not lift, they measure and they feed. Accounts of their true form and origin vary. In the few recorded accounts, the Measure Sprites are most often observed in isolation, delicate, almost fragile in appearance. It is believed their form shifts to reflect the insecurities of their chosen victim, though certain traits remain consistent across encounters. Often dismissed as tricks of the eye or the inventions of weary minds, those who have seen them speak of a presence that arrives not with force, but with quiet inevitability. Their wings resemble ancient vellum, creased, translucent, and rimmed with light. Their limbs are unnaturally precise, segmented like an artisan's tool. And where one might expect a tail, their trails a ribbon, not of silk, but of shifting marks, tallies, weights, and silent accusations. They do not blink. They do not breathe. They exist only to quantify, and not one of them is just. These creatures do not chase. They orbit. One hovers just beyond vision. Another nestles close to the ear. A third records hesitation, like scripture. They speak only when the mind is softened by fatigue, isolation, or doubt. And once settled, they rarely leave of their own accord. You won't find them in moments of truth or honesty. Instead, they take root in mirrors during fleeting spells of self-deprecation, in the hush between comparisons, in the shadows cast by self-doubt and impossible expectations. They thrive where self-worth falters, and once they arrive, they do not come alone. They multiply. Despite their resilience, these creatures are vulnerable, not to force, but to light, not of the sun, but of inner clarity. A breath, a pause, a whispered truth such as, "I am still learning." When the host becomes grounded, the sprites begin to fade, their glow faltering, their tallies curling in on themselves. Where there is compassion, they cannot hold a perch. It is not confrontation that banishes them, however. It is recognition, a quiet truth, spoken aloud. I am not their story. I am enough. Affirmation: however small, disrupts their rhythms. Kindness, even hesitant, is a form of resistance. Even seasoned travelers falter. There are days when their whispers persist, when clarity fades. That is not failure. In such moments, reach out to a trusted friend, to an anchor, to a guide. Not because you are lost, but because you are wise enough to be found. The Measure Sprites do not vanish. They wait, they linger. But now, you've seen them. You have named them, and that alone shifts the balance. The traveler who walks forward with awareness is never truly alone. The field atlas grows with every monster brought into light. The creatures we study do not truly disappear, but their reach shortens when we understand them. If today's encounter stirred something familiar, know this: your struggles are valid. You matter. You are not alone. Support is within reach. To journey further with us, follow, like, and subscribe on YouTube. Find us on Instagram and Facebook. And for the more involved travelers, join us on Patreon to help shape our next expedition. Until next time, may your steps be steady and your spirit be strong.